So I would go to each bar in usually the crowded time, so like no earlier than 7, right? I would stay for an hour. I would make conversation when I could, and I would wear something that was a little bit out of my comfort zone, you know, a little kooky, a little noticeable, like just something where I couldn't hide away. So that's what I did. Now, as I was building up or gearing up to do this, I was aware that I had definitely something in my head that was stopping me from doing this, and I got curious about that. Like, what is it that's been holding me back? And I landed on 5 things.
Hi, I'm Christina Fry. I'm the author of the Generosity Practice book, and I work with leaders in nonprofit and business to help them find their core operating system, that deep why and motivation that can fuel everything you do, from communicating the value of what you do, making decisions every day, and just dealing with everyday life.
Number 1, feeling not attractive to men, right? Not feeling, oh, I'm just gonna go out to a bar and be that like happy minx that eyes a man in the distance and like lures him. That's not me. So I am unattractive. That was one belief that I had. Another belief is I'm boring. And this comes from the fact that like, no, I'm not watching the World Cup. I'm not up on the latest baseball or football or basketball, like therefore nothing to contribute to any conversation in a bar. I'm not a cool kid. That was the next one. So how could I possibly ever, you know, have fun in a bar, because that's only for cool kids. People who go to bars are extroverted and shallow. That was another lovely belief I had that would stop me from entering in any of them. And then the last one is just, I'm afraid of the unknown. The unknown is not safe. All right, so those were my 5 things in my head that was like, nope, please don't do that. Don't go to bars. Night 1, as I already mentioned, I went to this swanky bar. It's where I live. Most of the bars were just around the corner from where I live. And the first one was called Ellis Square. This is the kind of place where men should be smoking cigars. They film movies in there. There's gorgeous leather decor. Like, it always felt like, nope, I'll never go in there because I'm not a member of a yacht club, so therefore I don't belong. But I went in, and the bartender, Brandon, so friendly, so helpful. There was a couple on my left, and we struck up a conversation. They were in healthcare, and they were saying, hey, it's a Tuesday night. That's our weekend because we do weird hours. And we had a really nice conversation. So that was night 1. Had a wonderful cocktail with mezcal and some shrub, like strawberry hibiscus shrub. One of the best drinks I've had in a long time. Not that I'm a big drinker, but yeah, that was really nice. So that was night 1. Night 2, I went next door to Soma. Was much more crowded. It was a Wednesday night. And in this instance, I sat right between 2 sets of people that were deep in conversation, and yeah, I was not going to try to bother them. I was ready. I was, you know, I like kept alert, but it never happened. And I had a book to read, and I just read it. And the bartenders also were they were just very otherwise occupied. So, you know, I didn't get the friendly vibe. Let's just put it that way. Maybe they are when they're not as busy, but there you go. So that was night 2. Night 3, I went to this place called Bonefish and it's like a very over-the-top, colorful tiki bar decor place. And I was really afraid that everyone there would be loud and extroverted, because that is definitely what I notice every time I walk by. But it turned out that, you know, I was there at like 7:30 at night, and I immediately struck up a conversation with a nice guy on my right. He told me all about the bar and what usually goes on here, trivia nights and all the things. And the food turned out to be spectacular. The best taco I've had on the North Shore, bar none, not even a question. And a really nice cocktail. I usually get margaritas because I do well with tequila. I never get a headache from tequila. So anyway, that was always going to be my drink. And yeah, and the bartenders were really friendly, even though it was busy. I'm sort of struck by the fact that like I haven't gone in there, and I've been missing out because I haven't been going in there. And to go in there by myself was pretty darn fantastic. Like a couple of softball teams came in, like a league came in after having been playing, and they were really friendly. Like I talked to a couple of them about how their night went and how much they love Bonefish Harry's and all the things. Like it was just delightful. So night 4 was Fibra McKe, And that is, I guess, an Irish pub. It doesn't seem to have too much of that vibe, but this is a place where you don't really see inside from the street. And for some reason, I just was intimidated to go in there. So I'm like, okay, that's on my list. I need to go in there and get over that. So I went there and, sat down at the bar next to an older couple. We immediately started talking. And by the end of our 45-minute conversation, they were taking my number to go do a museum tour. They had shown me pictures of how they met. She was a dancer. He was in the Navy, I believe. And it was absolutely adorable. It was so cute. So that was delightful. And then a couple of guys from Everett and Quincy sat down and we started talking, and I shared with them what I'm doing, and they loved it. I took a photo with them. They were so friendly. So yeah, the bartenders were friendly there. One of them was singing, and that was really fun, to a song on the radio. I had a really good time. And I also learned that their hot wings or buffalo wings are worth coming up from Everett and Quincy, because those guys had driven all the way up just to have those wings. I mean, I need to go back and have those wings. All right, night 5 was when I took a special evening into the city and was at the Liberty Hotel in Boston. And I just sat at that bar in the evening and had dinner and stayed there for a couple of hours. And that it was just absolutely gorgeous place. It was quiet because it was a Sunday night after the 4th of July. But I ended up talking to a woman for over an hour from Mobile, Alabama, and learned about the culture there and people's attitudes there, and what she loves about living there and what she doesn't love about living there. It was just, and she and her husband, he was there too, absolutely love Boston, and they were sharing what parts of Boston they love. So that turned out really nicely. The bartender was really sweet, hooked me up with all the things I needed. He was really attentive, and it was, in the Liberty Hotel, maybe the nicest hotel in Boston. I'm just saying. Night 6, I went to the Anchor. This is another one that kind of fills me with fear because it just seems like, again, another extrovert's paradise, like spring break. And I'm like, hard pass, no. But I went in and there was no seating outside, so I sat inside and immediately started talking to, first there was a woman maybe in her 50s or 60s next to me. We had a few words, and then a guy next to me from Albania. We chatted for probably the better part of an hour, so that was really nice. And had a decent drink for about a third of the price of other drinks I've had. So shout out to Anchor for cheaper beverages. Yeah, and so that was the Anchor. Again, the triumph here is that I actually put my foot in the door by myself to a place that's just boisterous and feeling a little bit like spring break. And no thank you. In the past, I would rather have eaten off my hand than go sit in a place like that and try to be sociable. So then the last place was last night, and that was the Mission Boathouse, also in Beverly, right at the bridge. And again, trepidation because it's a little bit upscale and, it's a really nice place, and I did not know what awaited me. I went, and I ended up talking to this woman who was a little worse for drink. That's fine. We all have our moments. And it turned out that she and her husband, who was also there, went to the same small town that I did in Italy in last October, Certaldo. What are the odds? It was ridiculous. As soon as she said that word, I'm like, are you kidding me right now? Certaldo? So that was amazing. And she ended up calling me skinny bitch, and she's asking me if I'm a model. I'm like, I'm sorry, what? So that was hilarious and kind of an ego boost. I'll take it where I can get it. And very friendly bartender. He was busy, but he was just always there, making sure we were okay. Who doesn't love that from a bartender? The best thing ever. So yeah, that was the end of the experiment. And here's where I've landed, right? First of all, I actually really liked it. I liked sitting there getting to know people. I noticed that if you just know how to listen and ask good questions, you're gonna have a good conversation. Second of all, it's just a really good way to meet people, and I look forward to doing it more. And I want to get to know the different places around. I discovered things I didn't know, the best tacos on the North Shore are in that crazy little tiki bar kind of place. I'm going back and enjoying that. Thank you very much. So yeah, I'm so glad that I did this. When I go to Switzerland next week to visit family, I'm gonna maybe challenge myself to go to a bar in a country where I don't really speak the language. That'll be the ultimate. Let you know how that goes. And this was my version of getting out of my comfort zone, and I'm really, really glad that I did. And if I look back at my beliefs, see if I debunked them all. So I am unattractive. Yeah, you know what? When a woman calls you a model slash skinny bitch and she's a little pissed off about it, that's sort of a debunker right there. And a guy asked for your number, which somebody did during this time. Feeling boring. Yeah, no one talked about sports, so we're fine. Not being a cool kid. Yeah, there was no attitude ever from anybody. People who go to bars are shallow and overly extroverted. I mean, I'm sure a lot of those people were more extroverted than me, but I didn't notice any shallowness on display. And then fear of the unknown. Yeah, that's just always going to be there. And it's just a matter of like, well, just feel the fear and do it anyway, which is what I did. So mission accomplished, I guess. Thanks for watching to the end.